Farmhouse trim is easy, cheap, and very modern. I did all the baseboards, windows, and doors in my house. Here, I'll show you how I did the baseboard around my island. I started with the side under the cabinets, measuring the width. I used a 1x4 inch common board that I stained with paint. Check out my other video for that. Measure and mark just above the length you need. You'll cut off that mark with the chop saw. Put it in place to check that it fits. The 4-inch board fit perfectly under the cabinet. Then nail with 18 gauge trim nails, 1.5 inch or longer, on each end and in the middle. Next, I took the width of the sides, including the width of the first piece of trim. I don't miter the edges with farmhouse trim, so I'm planning where I want the seams to show. I used a 1x6 inch common board, the same thing I used on the baseboards elsewhere. We have 10-foot ceilings, so the 6-inch looks better than the 4-inch I used under the cabinet. Then I placed it. You can see that I'm covering the cut edge of the first board. Throw a couple nails in each edge. Then I did the same thing on the other side. I always measure each side, sometimes they're off by an 1/8 inch or more. Construction never ends up being exact. Then I measured for the centerpiece. Again, I'm picking the order so I can hide as many cut edges as possible because I'm not mitering the edges. I put that one in place, then measured and cut for the inside of the legs. One fit perfectly, but the second one was a bit long. Cut this one a little too long, so I'm just gonna mark where I want to cut it now. So we'll take that much off. I put the trimmed piece in place, and then it was time to do the end caps. I measured the entire width, including the 2 edges of the side pieces. These actually ended up being the same length, but always double check. Don't assume that they are. You can see how, from the front, no cut edges are visible. I think that looks nicer. Now that I'm done, I can go back and touch up the visible ends with white paint.